Ah, hello, everybody. Wherever you're at. Hope everyone's having a good day. I'm having a good day because I have some coffee. It is not like the most expensive coffee I have, but I have some proper coffee and not the cheap instant stuff. So we are gonna make some coffee before we start. But yeah, we are also doing the 37 story, which I've delayed this a lot. Usually I do it almost right after finishing the main chapter. Obviously I've had some issues getting the main chapter done, but I also just wanted to get a lot of the smaller side stuff done because they released a lot of story this patch. Some of it I did off stream, which I kind of regret, but because of the bug that existed week 1, I'm glad I did. There was like a kind of a puzzle exploration game they added. Oh, I hit my spoon. But yeah, it was fun. It was simple. It gives you the lore of artificial somnambulism, where it came from, who invented it. So if you haven't done it yet, highly recommend it. It's the 3 Doors, I think it's called. But really fun. Really fun. But I need to make coffee. So I, being super well prepared for today, don't have anything ready. So let's fold the filter, get it ready for the pour over. So yeah, make my coffee, and then we can jump into the game. I gotta do my dailies. And yeah, we'll see what happens with 37's story. She's such a weird and interesting character, because she's both one of the smartest characters we've ever seen, but she's also just... intelligence is all she has. And so for anything else, she's a complete airhead, and I kind of love it. Also, I just realized, let me fix this. It doesn't happen often, but for some reason, YouTube defaults to top chat, which basically just means if YouTube's AI thinks that something was low quality, that it just censors it. And it's just, why? There we go. Folded. Filter. Rinse it. Oh, a little too much water too quick. Spray that filter. Filter kind of like folded all over the place. Whatever. Not drinking the filtered water. Okay. New bag. Still gotta open. Hopefully this is just one of those ones you just pull open. I hope I don't make a fool of myself trying to open this. Oh yeah, it looks like it's just peeling open. Yay! I had one of these coffee bags before, but admittedly it was like a few inches taller. And I tried so long to pull it apart, and then I had to look it up online, and it's like, oh no, this company seals it well, you have to cut it. It's like, oh, okay, now I feel like an idiot. I was pulling at it, trying to get it open, and no, just use scissors. But, really, what's this smell like? I can't tell if it'll be more earthy or... It's kind of the issue with these pre-ground ones. You Can't really tell. I can't wait till I can get some better whole bean coffee. But for some reason, the person I used to buy them from hiked up the price 50%, so I don't want to buy that right now. Eh, 19 grams. Usually I'd go 20 grams, but whatever, close enough. Actually, you know what? I'm probably gonna make a big... Wait. Why does it look like there's grains in the bottom? Oh boy. I'm making a mess. I have made a big mess, apparently. Apparently the filter wasn't pushed right up to the side, so some of the grains fell through. Imagine, haven't made fresh coffee like this in like a week or so, and I'm making huge mistakes. God damn it. Oh, there's still a little bit of water in there, thankfully. Pour that out. Oh geez, I got a bunch of grains in there. Who would have thought? Just a tiny little gap, and a ton of it fell through. And I regret just a tiny bit more. That's good. And again, this is like... I know nothing about this. It doesn't even describe it on it. Probably just a cheaper brand, but... it is something. And I am okay with that. I made such a big mess. I really need to get a better camera. Just like... makes no sense, because there's nothing here. But I kind of wish I could have a camera here facing the coffee stuff. I'll have to think about figuring that stuff out eventually. For whenever I make coffee. But... start... bloom... Okay. I'll move some stuff out of the way. Don't exactly need to filter one. And while that's pouring, I can start opening the game. The music's a little louder than I normally put it. I apologize if it's been too loud. Game. Game's probably not going to capture right away anyway, because it's not full screen. Oh my gosh, why does it keep back? Stupid kettle. Making all the mistakes. Let's switch that to full screen. I'm gonna stop my music. You guys should be able to hear the game. And I will switch from the full camera to the corner camera. Unfortunately means you can't see the coffee, but... But... okay, good, it captured. Can start getting...
You're back. Of course you are. Because this place is the origin.
I'm honestly really curious about that line, that this place is the origin. It could be that she's talking about it like this is your home, but I also kind of wonder if there's more meaning to that. Because we don't know why the suitcase is so special. Or why Verton has a magical space inside of a suitcase. And especially, they talk about the pneuma flowing, and we know technically out the windows here is where, you know, the summoning area is. I wonder if literally just what they consider the real world is just in Verton's suitcase. Be funny. But let's do another poll while it loads. Poll. 4. Not a poll. Gotcha on the brain. Oh, is she gonna do her animation again? Hey, I only saw this for the first time yesterday. Which tells me if this is the building she interacts with, that this big-ass thing is probably what 6 is gonna interact with. But yeah, I did end up finishing building this up. For people who haven't seen my new... can I go higher? For people who haven't seen my place yet. I was originally gonna put like an India over here, but I didn't get all those pieces. And I also just didn't think it would blend in well with everything. But this actually gave us tiles to blend these. But yeah, we got the forest, we got the city, and we've now got our crazy island of number people. But yeah, I love this game's like housing system, quote unquote. It's more fun and it's easier to mess with. But one more pour. Now let me clean up a little quick. You know, I think the real test... I do this every now and then. People know I have really shaky hands. How bad is it today? Okay, it's really bad today. That's why I'm making mistakes today. My hands don't feel like working today. That's fun. I never really notice until I actually look at it, because I'm so used to them shaking around. But let's quickly run through these dailies.
I can't wait anymore.
But yeah. I've only heard that this apparently is like a puzzle one, which I feel like most of them have been. Most of them have been like, you have a grid map and you have to get through them. I kind of hope there's something unique to this one, and it's not just the grid map again. We'll see.
Thank you for your cooperation.
I really hope this is backstory. I really want this to be backstory between 37 and Sophia, I think her name was? The redhead. We got a tiny bit of backstory for them in the extra chapter. We did that the other day. We found out in the extra chapter that their parents would go out and try to learn about the world. And apparently because... we know from the main story that because of Sophie or Sophia's wrong math, they ended up going in the wrong place. And ended up dying. Or returning to shapes, as 37 would say. To their original form, their pure form. We did find out her mom's name, which I believe her mom was 66? Was it 66? I could be wrong. $77, that's it. I knew it was two of the same number. Thank you. But yeah, that makes sense. I am very bad at remembering names. I can remember all the details, but then it comes down to names. And then, of course, they do weird things with these ones, because these names are numbers. They expect me to remember numbers? But let me dump some of these so I don't cap. Getting close to emptying out the shop thing. I still need to go and do the hard mode of this fight. The hard mode of this boss is the only one that I couldn't kill fast enough. And I ended up getting 1 star instead of 2. But seeing this version helped teach me how it works. Well, the story hard, right? Because there's the normal one you do during the story, and that one was fun. But the actual hard version, just for extra credit, I was able to get it through, but yeah, a bit rough. But I think I made a few mistakes in which of the abilities I gave the boss. So I'll have to see if I can fix that at some point. Just to get full credit. It's nice having stars on every mission. Like full stars. It's also such a cool boss. Okay, I'm not gonna run that twice. I can run the second time later. But let's do fake gotcha.
A truly marvelous
Fake gotcha that all I can get is
I
money.
hope the margin is wide enough to contain. I admire the insightfulness of Sharpadantes. They are able to identify people's types
Yeah,
of numbers
it
and
hurts
demonstrate their
real
attitude
hard.
with their teeth.
Sotheby was struggling to keep people alive. I think my mistake is I let the boss do extra attacks at the end of the fight when it's below 50 instead of at the beginning, which meant it was ulting and using extra attacks plus its normal attacks at the end of the fight, and it was just doing way too much damage. I couldn't focus on attacking. So I think spreading the damage across the whole fight's better, which is what they did in this version in here. This one, they made it so the extra attacks are at the beginning, and it's so much easier to deal with.
A truly marvelous hypothesis.
5 more of currency.
I admire the insightfulness of Sharp.
But yeah, not quite done, but we'll be done by the end. Not pulling for anything right now anyway. Now that I have her. Because, again, I have 3 out of 4 of these. As much as I like Voyager, I think the problem with Voyager is there's too many good star supports. Like, I have 3 or 4 star supports, and I don't need another one. So, if I did get Voyager, she'd probably just sit on the bench. But, no. But let's hope this still plays the first cutscene. I accidentally clicked on it like a week ago, and it tried to autoplay a cutscene. And so I Alt F4'd really, really quickly. We take the filter out of this, and then we can click on it and start. I'm wondering if it's just something with this coffee, because this coffee gets everywhere. But Don't have Lilia Regulus, so I have to build her. That's fair. Like, are you saying for, Voyager? One thing I'm doing for her is I'm using 37 with Miss Newbabel. Because Miss Newbabel probably has the most follow-up attacks. But that is another 6-star you'd have to have. But yeah, all of her counters count as a follow-up attack, so if a lot of things attack her, you can trigger 37's follow-up attacks over and over and over again. Still figuring out how to play them better, but it's definitely not the highest damage team, but it works. But let me try some of this coffee. I'm expecting it to be at least a little bitter. Partially because I messed up, and partially because it's pre-ground. And coffee always tastes bitter. But yeah, a little bitter. And earthy, so I think the next time I have this stuff, I might have it with some of my almond cream. I can't have dairy, but I think the cream will make it much better. But I wanted to try plain first. But, let's see. I still have to do this, too. I did it once, and then I never touched it again. But, let's see. Story. It should start right away. I'm assuming, like usual, there's going to be 1 or 2 voiced lines every now and then. And then I gotta read everything. So.
37. 37.
Little Sophia! We get backstory! This is what I wanted. What coffee you having? It's like a cheap medium dark stuff. It's pre-ground. I don't even know this brand. I needed coffee, and my mom knew I needed coffee, so my mom picked it up for me. So I appreciate it. I like coffee regardless, but yeah, it's, again, pre-ground coffee that you get at the store is almost always a little bitter. Just because it's going stale. But eh, it's still better than using like a Keurig or something, so I am still happy.
Look!
Yeah, one word and then the rest of the line they don't say. Look at the trail I made in the water.
Certainly.
Oh, small 37. Yes, I was counting. The end result was the number 4. 37 walked over to Sophia, raising 4 fingers seriously. That means what you did was spot on. 4 signifies justice and strength. Wonderful. Let me try again. I'll try to make more skips this time.
1, 2, 3.
Excitedly, Sophia picks up a few more smooth pebbles, only to receive a puzzled look from her companion. You got the right answer already. Why throw more? Because it's fun. Question made Sophia pause, and she matched her puzzled face. But 37 seemed to be more confused. Bigger numbers aren't always better. If you're testing your throwing technique, 4 is the best possible number.
Yeah.
Or do you want to test your passion and coordination? 5 would be better for that. Oh, I'm not trying to test any number. It's a game. The red-haired girl felt caught in the awkwardness of the moment. She hadn't been on the island for very long, and the seriousness of which they took arithmetic still left her feeling alien. Thankfully, she had a companion who was well versed in these matters.
Oh.
A game. Oh, a game. Like Kotobos, where you fling wine dregs from 2-handled cups at dinner parties. I guess so. I mean, it almost sounds like we're skipping stones. She had agreed without really understanding the specifics, but not wanting the conversation to stall, or to disappoint her new friend. Aw.
Oh, fine.
Ah, alright. I don't get the point of all this. Huh? 37's brow furrowed, as if let down by her companion.
So,
Throwing wine or pebbles, hitting a target, sinking a plate, or skipping stones on water.
does all this have any symbolic meaning?
What's the point of these actions? What are we trying to achieve? If it's about being the highest ranked, I get it. Like 210, he's always trying to get to the top score in Kotobos. So is 6. He's always chasing the end of each series.
But,
sometimes it seems like people do things without any purpose at all. Well, it's just playing. That's what most games are about, spending time with friends and having fun time. Without any greater purpose, I guess. Fun? You mean these things don't have any transcendent purpose? They don't climb up the hierarchy, seek knowledge, purify their souls, or seek out the truth? I'd argue purify their souls, maybe. So all they're doing is idling in the sensory world. The young girl's tone grew much more distant, even cynical, surprising Sophia. No, I think, well, it's not entirely like that. Sorry, 37. I'm new here. There's a lot I don't understand. If I'm wrong. Purify their boredom, perhaps. Blue-haired girl was resting her chin in her hands. She had already drifted away in thought.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
That's alright.
Never mind these trivial matters. We've more important things to do. Mother asked me to familiarize you with the island. So, is 4 the number you wanted to validate on the beach? Sophia tried to finish her apology, but 37 dismissed it with a wave. She was already caught in another train of thought. This kind of thing would happen several times until she got used to it. But back then, her still fledgling heart was unpolished by the sea breeze and sand, and she was full of questions.
37.
37, I still don't quite understand. This apparent belief in
I
numbers.
just think.
Before coming here, I dealt with numbers in my studies, but it was just arithmetic. When I solved problems, my dad would reward me with candy, and I'd save them in a jar to buy flowers for Mom before going to the hospital. Sophia realized she was saying too much. It wasn't the right context, nor did it concern her new friend. Anyway, my impression of numbers is all caught up in those textbook exercises, far removed from these abstract transcendent meanings. Like, I don't understand why you believe that numbers are eternal. Because they are eternal. 37's answer, more a declaration, was yet more puzzling, making Sophia regret asking at all and risking offense. I mean, you can ask to learn more. Poor kid is so shy. Thankfully, prime numbers like 37 are nimble-minded. At least that is what she would say. Hello. Welcome, welcome.
But
I don't know how to explain it with words, but I have a perfect example. It was Euclid who once proved there are an infinite number of prime numbers. Prime numbers. Like how 37 is a prime number.
certainly.
Yes. 13 is prime, 23 is prime, 37 is prime, and 337 is also prime. Their factors are only 1 in themselves. They cannot be divided by any other natural number. Prime numbers can go on infinitely. But how can we prove this? 37 enthusiastically wrote a series of numbers in the sand, finishing with a circle at the end. Euclid's method is to imagine the existence of the largest prime number. This is... I'm kind of curious. Does that have a name? Does the circle have a name? Unless the circle isn't what's actually meant and they mean like infinity. I'm actually not sure if that thing has a name. But, meh. Let's see. So we make a complete series of prime numbers, starting from the smallest all the way to the largest. You need to get to her story? Well, this is the beginning of her story, so... if you want to see it, this is it right here. Based on this understanding, let's imagine there's a larger number. Triangle. Triangle represents the multiplication of all prime numbers in the queue, plus 1. Clearly it cannot be divided by any of the listed prime numbers. The numbers 2, 3, 5, or any number represented by circle will result in the remainder of 1. If triangle is not a prime number, it should be divisible by a prime number larger than circle. If triangle is a prime number, then naturally it's larger than circle. Both scenarios contradict the assumption that circle is the largest prime number. Therefore, the conclusion is there's no such thing as the largest prime number. Prime numbers are infinite. 37 finished writing, clapped her hands, shook off the sand, and stood up beaming. Cute kid. She's so proud to share with her friend, look, this is how numbers work.
But...
I heard about this theorem at school, but I still don't understand what it means, really. She couldn't grasp the transcendental meaning behind such a specific mathematical theorems. There is no perfect, there is no infinity. To her, they were strict, correct, but nothing more than chalk particles on a blackboard, monochromatic, sharply defined, and barely soluble in water. And that was all. Mother told me Euclid wrote down this proof over 2,000 years ago. She said the person who wrote this proof will die, the paper that recorded this proof will decompose, and we who read this proof will also one day disappear. Everything will be washed away like sand on the seashore.
Certainly.
But this proof will endure, always correct, beautiful, and intricate, to be admired by every future generation. I suppose that's eternal. Everyone on the island tells me I'm special. Prime numbers are like the foundation stones of arithmetic. All integers are derived from prime numbers. But I'm one of a set of infinite prime numbers. There will always be more, newer numbers, so I'm not truly special. But even if I am just 37 grains of sand on the beach, I'm still encompassed within this infinite queue.
Yeah.
And there are an infinite number of such sequences. Sequences of integers, sequences of fractions, sequences of irrational numbers, each and every one infinite. 37 turned around, and now her eyes sparkled with the grains of sand in the sunlight. Oh my god. Of quantum physics? Oh boy, I want to know what this whole island would think of quantum physics. Just turn everything on their head. Though, I mean, I guess they're already experiencing something like that in the story, right? Because they thought they predicted everything perfectly. And then they realized, oh, it didn't happen the way we predicted it. Oh, there was just a variable you didn't know about, right? And that's the same thing with quantum stuff, right? It's just there's a variable you didn't know about. It's weird. No one likes thinking about it, but you can't see everything. We're all part of infinity, and I take pride in that. I think, Sophia, that is what eternity is. Under the bright sunlight, the grains of sand on the beach gleamed like gold. As she locked eyes with 37, it was blinding yet poignant. Don't close. Whoops. Don't close your eyes, as the scripture says. Do not shy away from anything beautiful.
Ah.
Oh. As time passed, I often remembered the theorem 37 told me. Never quite understood her world, this fascinating abstract kingdom of mathematics where every number is her friend. But in that moment I caught a fleeting glimpse of the beautiful brilliance of eternity in her eyes. It was enchanting, inspiring, and admirable. It became the seed that led me to embrace the school. The beach changed in the days that followed. Yeah. The ship approached the shore, the emanation unfolded before our eyes, and cheers turned into sorrowful cries. Eventually, all that remained of what we lost were cold, lifeless, geometric shapes. Gosh darn it, me! Stop hitting the middle click. Yet through it all, 37 stood unwavering. She poured incredible focus into her mother's research, never displaying any sadness or hesitation. Just like the theorem she spoke of that day on the beach, unchanging, resolute, immune to the passage of time. How could 37 stay so uniquely unaffected by the world around her? I couldn't find an answer to that question. All I could do was offer her my help, meager as it was. Is this going to be as much a Sophia story as it's going to be a 37 story? I worry about Sophia. Something tells me there's something bad's going to happen to her in the future. Well, the menu of this is the same as usual. We got Tiny Chibi dashing around. What all is in here anyway? Nothing crazy. A decent amount of currency though. Good job, me. I could have used those when I was still pulling. Looks like it's all on one map this time. Last time it was in 2 maps. But let's see, a children's game. The puzzles are pretty fun, that's good. Love me a good puzzle. The lab's light bulb needs changing, and we may need more paper for calculations. 37 mentioned last time that we need...
Hey.
Oh, hey, Sophia. You look like you're in a rush. Something urgent. Not exactly. I'm just heading to the lab to check on 37's progress. 37. It's been a while since you made an appearance on the beach. I believe she's still digging into those remaining records. No one else can handle them. Every time the emanation came up in conversation, the atmosphere seemed to darken in response. It was as if navigating around the edge of a storm. Don't worry, 37 will figure it out. It's interesting that how much pulls did it take to get her? A lot. It took me like, I think 60 something pulls. I didn't hit pity, but I got to soft pity at least. And then I was already on guarantee because I failed to get Shamane. So that saved me a little bit. But yeah, Shamane, I did like... I don't think Did I do that many? I think Shamane I did like 40, 50 pulls. And didn't get him. Ended up getting Anan Lee, which honestly wasn't horrible, because Anan Lee's really good. I use her a lot now. But was just unfortunate. But yeah, it's interesting that as much as a lot of these people believe in the power of numbers and they believe in everything that they practice here, they're still terrified of the things happening in the real world. Whereas you look at 37, she's like, it's just the world of matters. Who cares? She doesn't care about it at all. She's just, yeah, I'm gonna find a way to make our life better. And hey, take care of yourselves, both of you. We don't need you to wear yourselves out.
I understand.
Thank you both so much. Sophia extended her hand in a gesture of goodwill. I didn't pay attention. Is it the usual Christian prayer that she's doing there, or was she drawing a shape? I wouldn't be surprised if it was drawing a triangle, just based on the practice of this place. After sharing those brief pleasantries, it was time to continue on their way. Back to the crazy lab. Scattered scribbled notes, piles of thick books, and stray strands of critter hair. It looked as if a flock of Abraxas had visited, or the lab had been caught in a whirlwind for centuries on end. She drew a star pattern? Okay, makes sense. Anyone would have been exhausted by such a sight, and amidst the panoply of the lab director herself lay sprawled across a table, lost in her own head. I think it'd be funny if they did art of that. Just, here's 37 lying on the table, writing notes. 37, have you considered tidying up this room? She moved nimbly, stepping over scattered books as she approached the long table. The notebook which lay beside 37 looked oddly familiar.
This is...
Is this... Someone had treasured this notebook, adorning it with illustrations and notes. Flipping through its pages, Sophia found meticulous data validation records accompanied by engineering sketches. Is it going to be her dad's? After a few more pages, the content started relating to things on the island, interspersed with sheet music and simple sketches, documenting seagulls flying by and the silhouette of a little girl playing. Finally, her fingers halted on a page with grids and a few math problems written on it.
Sophia!
Oh, Sophia, you're here! 37 rubbed her eyes and quickly shifted her attention to the notebook Sophia was holding. Oh, I found this little book while looking through one of these piles. There's an absolute plethora of notes inside. I wanted to see if there were any records relating to the emanation. 37 straightened up, carefully inspecting the page Sophia was reading. Chess moves? I remember this page. I was so young then, standing on my tiptoes to reach my father's desk. I told him how my friends seemed uninterested in games, and that I was struggling with math. He brought a stool so I could see the words as he wrote in his notebook.
It's just... Never mind.
Sorry, this isn't really important. She closed the notebook and turned to 37. These are riddles for kids, far too simple for you. Don't waste time on them. Everyone's waiting for the next phase of your research. I'll take this notebook with me.
No.
No, Sophia, these aren't just for kids. I just found out that the answers form an interesting sequence. They might relate to the celestial rhythms. That's Hugh's area of study, right? Look, this number seems to follow an octave pattern with the next one. And these symbols are unique too.
I think.
They're all related to the number 3. Must be a trick using a combination of triangles. I've tried several solutions. She listed one intriguing discovery after another. 37 pontificated, glowing with increasing focus and enthusiasm. I used to do stuff like this when I was a kid. Try to find patterns in things, try to notice things. They don't always mean something, but it's fun as a kid to find things. It was reminiscent of her past lessons on the beach and countless nights researching the emanation. Armed with that intense curiosity, she sought answers in everything. Unwavering, unchanging.
Well.
Fine. If that's the case, then I'll help you find the answers, 37. But let's be quick. Afterward, you'll refocus on your main research, right?
Sure.
Of course. It shouldn't take long. I'm almost certain. First, we should find a spacious spot. Something close to the one described in the notebook. The notebook rustled in 37's hands. Her fingers skimmed the pages, capturing fleeting sparks of inspiration as she sped toward the lab's exit. I hope this won't take too long. Should I really let her waste time like this? Well, no minigames with that one. That's interesting. So they've learned that. Something that was, in my opinion, a problem with a lot of the old ones is they forced a puzzle in, even if the puzzle didn't make sense. It's nice to know they're doing some that are just... It's just a cutscene. They don't need to force you to play minigames all the time. Strolling along the familiar path on the beach, everything looked as it did before. Sand was sand, rocks only rocks. Earthly elements far divorced from anything transcendental. But it was an unwritten doctrine of the school. A walk by the sea helped one contemplate the truth. Oh, I missed that flock of seagulls.
Be careful!
Careful, 37. Next to you. The startled birds flapped and cawed, shaking off in a flurry of sand and feathers. 37 brushed away the debris that landed on her paper, continuing on without fuss. Sophia caught up with her, hurried from behind, at last breaking her focus. Something wrong, Sophia? Nothing. Any new discoveries? Not yet, but I've thoroughly dispelled the dark clouds from my mind. The sea breeze may not aid in finding the truth, but it is invigorating in its own way. As if to challenge her claim, a yawn escaped her. So sleepy.
Yay!
Look, it's 37. Have you discovered anything interesting lately? Care to tell us about it?
Or like this?
Perhaps we should start calling 37 the Star of Hermes, like 210 does. I mean, it sounds like an honor, doesn't it? Anyway, good afternoon, 37. They passed a group of children who overtook them with curiosity and warm greetings. Everyone had known 37's curious methods for her research, and so few were surprised to see her strolling along the beach with the notebook in hand. Afternoon. Playing hopscotch? Better move a bit further, or the waves will mess up your lines.
Let me think.
Waves. Each drop in the waves moves in a circular motion. When the crest of the wave exceeds 120 degrees, they crash with a whoosh. But the answer sequence seemed unrelated with these waves. What could it be then? She briefly dove back into her thoughts, but as their leader approached, she snapped out almost as quickly. 266, 267. Oh. The leader sidestepped around them silently, as if trying to make a quick escape. Such efforts rarely turned out as expected for him. 6, you're here too. What methods are you examining with your walk? Are you counting your steps along the beach?
I think.
Perhaps you are taking 6,666 steps because you're 6. Oh, but that number isn't optimal. Let me suggest. 6 deftly avoided 37's quizzical advice and changed the subject.
Why aren't you in your laboratory?
Oh, there's one I don't have to read. I discovered some puzzles Hugh left behind, so I've opted to decode them with Sophia. She happily waved the decorated notebook in her hand toward 6.
Actually.
These puzzles are mostly children's games. I can assure you 37 won't waste too much time on them.
Sure.
They are indeed rudimentary. Oh, I figured out the clue I overlooked. Thank you, Sophia. I have it now.
Essentially.
They're games, so you must play through them to understand Hugh's intention. And it just so happens there are already 3 of us. You, me, and 6. Imperceptibly, 6's hair stood on end. Like a fight-or-flight response, he's like, oh no, I'm being roped into it. No. Sorry, there are other matters that call to my attention. We used to play together often, didn't we?
I think.
The present is no different from the past. Time is merely a procession of knots in an infinite rope. It doesn't matter where you start counting.
No.
Thank you for your invitation, but... As 6 spoke, he took a step back. The language was clear, implying that the conversation should end there. Unfortunately, these social cues were lost on 37. I love her so much. Excellent! I'd like to use this beach to gather anyone interested in the game. I assure you it'll be done before dinner, but we simply cannot ignore this pressing issue. Is she gonna collect people to do the chess puzzles on the beach? Very well. 36 turned to 6, turned to Sophia, nodding an almost imperceptible plea to her.
In addition.
Please evaluate the feasibility of 37's proposal.
I shall leave this with you.
But I'm afraid I must take my leave. He took a step forward, pausing for a moment. I'll start from 268.
Thank you.
Thank you. Finally, he resumed his interrupted walk, narrowly escaping 37's notice as she returned to her thought. Was that the number he left off at? It is. So I think that might have been a mistranslation. You know, 6 is the best riddle solver among us. He used to say the most interesting things, but now he's become naught but a walking scroll.
Actually.
6 has become the leader of the school, and our leaders need to be even-handed, objective, forthright, flawless. 6 has so many obligations. We all have our own tasks that need doing.
Mm-hmm.
Well then, my task is to understand the true meaning behind these exercises. I really hope these puzzles actually lead to an important story. Oh, I wonder if it's gonna be Sophia's number. I wonder if all these puzzles were Sophia's dad helping her find out her number. And then that means she's gonna throw the answer away because 37 solved it first. Oh no. She raised the collection of children's games high. For the island's chief researcher, it wasn't the most fitting action. 37.
Perhaps.
Maybe these exercises don't have any meaning at all.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? 37 blinked as if Sophia's word had no imprint of meaning at all.
I think.
They're just children's games, and you already know the answers to each one of them.
Perhaps.
I know you think the sequence of answers has some significance. Maybe they are just random numbers. All things considered, we still have. The conversation could have carried on about people's expectations, duties, and obligations, but the sea breeze suddenly drowned out her voice. 37 didn't hear her, or perhaps she didn't care to.
Huh?
It's those kids, look! 37 looked into the distance, completely engrossed in the next moment.
Uh-huh.
Come on, Sophia, hurry up. I'll help you ask. Hold on, don't go so fast. A lovable genius, yet gullible. And a bit of a goofball. But I mean, honestly, assuming these puzzles were written after Hugh, Sophia's dad, came to this island, it's entirely possible that the sequence of numbers actually has a meaning. And she's actually just finding something that no one else would have. Her words were lost in the swaying of 37's rope as she dashed ahead. She was always one to act on her thoughts immediately, seizing on every idea and squandering her inspiration, yet she could reach heights others only dreamed of. Not long ago she rushed out of the canteen in the middle of dinner, bewildering everyone present. But a day later she submitted her initial speculation on the distribution of emanation, which was just as soon verified. When asked about it, 37's response was understated. Oh, I simply noticed a striking resemblance between the patterns of the emanation and how my sesame seeds were arranged. See, this is the kind of shit I did as a kid all the time. I would just look at something random and I'd notice something. And it would give me an idea and make me want to do something. I think almost anyone's done at least one of the things. You know how a lot of places they have those tiles on the wall or maybe carpets with random patterns? And it could literally be random dots. But that one time you looked at it and you could swear you could connect the dots and make it look like a face. Or make it look like something. And I loved that as a kid. I'd see that and it's like, oh, I need to do something about this. And I'd either draw it or I'd like go play a game that it inspired me to play or go do something that it made me think of. It's funny seeing this stuff because it brings back some really silly memories. Yeah, that used to happen to me it still happens to me quite often, to be fair. We have some like marble tile, it's fake marble tiles in our bathroom that has a bunch of random line patterns in it, and every now and then I see something different in it. Yeah, seeing shapes in clouds. Similar things like that all the time, but it's fun. It's fun and it just gets you thinking. Another example of that just happened. Just looking, it's probably going to be almost impossible for you guys to see because it's so tiny. But on this cliff face right here, I see 3 dots and just the lines around it of the cliff face. It almost looks like a bird's head. This looks like there's a bird there. Totally random. There's no bird there. I guarantee you the artist did not try to draw a bird there, but it kind of looks like it. And I guarantee you if I see this picture again another day, I won't see that. I love how the brain works. It's so interesting. But yeah, I love stuff like this. It doesn't have to mean anything, but it can still get you thinking and get you doing something, even if there's no greater purpose. I think that's the thing Sophia's missing, is just because something doesn't actually have a greater meaning doesn't mean it can't have greater meaning to the person who sees it.
Perhaps so.
It was her strange genius. She bent down to pick up a pebble buried in the sand and tossed it as far as she could. As the stone skimmed over the water's surface, it created several ripples, conjuring a stream of memories. But how many times did it bounce? I heard 4 splashes, I think, but... Nope. Back to her as a kid. And oh no, this is gonna be when their parents died. Faint sobs collided against smooth geometric surfaces, leaving faint and hollow echoes. But a hurried set of footsteps obscured any other sound.
Certainly.
Sophia, you're here. I have something for you, something you'll be interested in. Oh no, is this when the number thing happened? 37 handed over a glass bottle. The rolled up paper inside looked jagged, as if it had once been a corner of a worksheet. You know what? The reason she threw it away might not have been that she didn't want to know it. She might have thrown it away because she was depressed at the time. Oh. You wanted to know your soul number, right? I saw it, so I wrote it down here. Her tone was proud as ever. It was a prime number, one that carried a meaning of hard and piercing brilliance. It was a memory that was willfully forgotten. In the last moments of her memory, as the glass bottle traced an arc through the air, landing in the sea, as the ripples dispersed, calm returned.
Sophia!
Sophia! Sophia! Her friend's call brought her back to reality.
Brilliant!
There are more people interested in this game than I thought. No time 37 returned with the participants she had found. Shining with confidence, she seemed ready to start immediately.
Uh-huh.
All the necessary conditions are met now. We need to proceed in order with the game. Let's start with the first question. Will you help by observing us, Sophia? Of course. She did regret it later on, and yet she's still friendly with her, yeah. Like, I mean, they grew up together. It makes sense that they genuinely care about each other. It's just they see the world totally differently. But it makes sense, like, to 37, finding these numbers and solving things is like a game to her. That's what she grew up doing. That's what she has fun doing. So even if it's technically bad manners in their society to find someone else's number, she still does it because it's a puzzle for her to solve. And honestly, finding fun and puzzles in something is a very easy way to motivate yourself. It's part of how I got through math growing up. Some math I never really liked that much. Like, I never really liked a lot of, ironically, practical math. I didn't like word problems and stuff like that. But you give me an equation, and if I understand it, I had fun solving those, because to me it was a puzzle as a kid. I kind of just taught myself to enjoy doing math. So I can kind of get it. Not to the extent she's at it, though. And I don't think I could do it anymore. Occasionally I'll do some nerdy stuff, but not quite that nerdy. I'll validate your calculations and check for errors. The red-headed corrector nodded. Of course, not every question needed an answer. No, they all had their own tasks. Oh, to be continued. Now, are the puzzles gonna be the mini games that she's trying to solve? Ooh, different angle. 37 will summon the participants to the game. Follow the prompts to converse with the participants in the scene, confirming their respective selected shapes.
Hello there.
So let's start by choosing our shapes. Starting from the left side, we'll all choose one by one. She lifts her notebook high, showing it to the crowd around her, waiting for instructions.
Please wait.
Choosing from these 7 geometric shapes, I think I'll choose in order. The monad, from which all things originate. I choose this symbol to show respect to a parent. I'm assuming monad is just circle. Or a dot, but... But yes, as I let out some of my nerdy stories of my childhood, you could see why I love this character so much. 37 straight up reminds me of little me. I was the awkward kid that didn't get jokes, I was hard to talk to, but I loved nerdy shit. Admittedly though, I also really liked books. So I was a little better. Because I highly doubt she'd enjoy sitting down and reading a good storybook. But yeah, she very much reminds me of me. Also, why is he still here? Assuming that's 6.
It's like this.
Oh, you're right. I love the unity and universality of it all.
The question is,
Oh, I think the monad then is just a dot, if the second one's a line. I choose this line segment, made of 2 points joined together. It represents both fusion and division, with endless possibilities.
that's great.
No problem, that's an interesting point you bring up as well.
I think.
We'll need one more shape. 1, 2, 3. I'll take this one. Of course she takes the triangle.
A perfect number.
Oh no, she takes the star. That's interesting. There's a nice golden ratio hidden in the star shape, so it's a good choice. Good. Now we can start inferring. After confirming the selected shapes, the game can officially start. Follow the prompts on the left to gradually form the argument. Form the participants, the game's topic.
Let me think.
The first question in the notebook is, there's a well 8 meters deep. A small snail starts climbing from the bottom. It climbs 3 meters during the day and drops 2 meters at night. How many days will it take for the snail to climb out of the well? "8 meters, 3 a day, down to a night." It's basically just going up every day, right? Does it get out when it climbs to 8, or does it get out when it climbs to 9? Because I think, would that be 5 then? Because 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, no, it'd be 6 days. 6 days. If it's just going up 1 every day. That's the question. Did everyone hear it clearly? I can read it again. Everyone shakes their heads
It's
in
like
unison.
this.
The game is simple. We just need to line up in the correct order to represent the steps that solve the question. After ascertaining the topic, corresponding deduction steps will be allocated to participants.
For instance,
The monad represents climbing up 3 meters.
Yes.
Got it. Allocated deduction steps will be recorded in available shapes. These are the allocated deduction steps. Okay, so they definitely went crazy with the minigame this time. These... Please continue allocating all the remaining steps. Okay.
Here you go.
Line segments represents dropping down 2
Yes.
meters. I'll remember that. And that gives us... It's crawling up from the bottom. Climbs 3 meters. Oh, are we just gonna be alternating them? But then we...
And then...
Finally, the pentagram represents adding 1 day. Oh, are we making an equation?
a perfect number.
I think everything is set now. Successfully allocated deduction steps required. There's a red dot. Let me click the red dot. It's the topic you need to argue. So this is just writing an equation. Like a logical equation. Tap to place deduction steps in the action sequence and arrange the shapes logically to complete the demonstration. There's an error in your argument. The corrector will fulfill her responsibility. If you don't know what to do, you can also borrow the Star of Hermes Eureka to shed some light on how to solve the puzzle.
For
Okay.
instance...
Ah! I didn't mean to click that. Whatever. Let me... The key to this is the chronology. The snail always climbs upward during the day and drops down at night. Okay. Just looked at the VOD quick. Solve the puzzle by arranging the shapes. You need to arrange the shapes according to the requirements of the question. If the order is incorrect, you won't be able to argue. You'll need to eliminate the errors first. Okay. But I mean, like, this just goes on infinite. Oh, it does just go on infinitely. It's literally just... It's... Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. I was expecting something a little more cryptic, but no, it's literally just logically solving it, which I did in my head. Oh, evening. Okay, I kind of like these puzzles. I'm curious what kind of crazy things they'll come up with after. Because that one was just a loop. That one's simple.
Mm-hmm.
How's it going? You followed all the steps in order, right?
Yes.
Yes, I've numbered them and made notes.
That's great.
Wonderful. That will be a most valuable resource. Now on to the second question. Woman in the plain robes continued with the game, methodically going through its motions. It was nothing more than a simple game for kids. To the corrector, it all seemed amusing. Here they were, brilliant minds, meticulously recreating children's play on the beach, instead of tackling the great questions of their age. I need to look up a number. Whoops. Gosh darn it, I keep forgetting that if I scroll with the game open, it'll do that. No, what? I can't remember what number it is I'm thinking of, but we'll see. I'm wondering what the end result of this is going to be, because the first puzzle was a 6. Do you really think this game holds any significance? As soon as Sophia asked this, the woman recording the answers turned and gave her a smile. Feeling bored?
No.
No, not really. 37 believes that by completing this game, she'll understand some hidden meanings in the sequence formed by the answers.
Actually,
But my father was pragmatic and always focused on the present. Like me, he didn't have an eye for these sorts of abstract
I
things.
think...
I doubt his notebook could contain any transcendental meanings 37 is seeking. Honestly, at first glance, you can easily see the results. The answers to each question form a 10-digit number. 6333434533. Does that number mean anything? It's been fun looking up stuff in this chapter, because... Nah, it doesn't look like it. Literally, the only thing I found was something about this story. I can't see its value, but 37 must be doing this for a reason. After all, she's always the first to grasp the essence beyond our understanding. Essence. She had never associated her father's notebook with the notion of some transcendental essence. What essence could a set of children's exercises in old book possibly hold?
I don't know.
If this is just a waste of time, it could erode everyone's trust. Then The corrector furrowed her brow with worry. She felt as if she had to rectify this mistake.
Sophia!
Sophia, what's on your mind? Her friend's sudden appearance caught her off guard, forcing her to take a step back.
It's just...
Nothing.
Never mind.
She forced an adjustment of her demeanor, hiding any sign of her flustered thoughts. I was just thinking, 37, are these games perhaps too simple for the others? Are they? 37 tilted her head.
I think...
But there is nothing simple about any set of numbers, nor any set of answers.
Essentially...
Indeed, the simplest numbers often hold the deepest meanings. Even a number as singular as 1 holds the origin of all mathematical thought.
It's like this.
I believe the problems in this notebook are no different.
I understand.
Of course, you're always right, 37.
Perhaps...
But perhaps instead of these simple games, we could... work on more important things. 37 finishes her sentence, catching the red-haired corrector off guard once again. 37's eyes followed her as she took a step forward, fired off a series of questions on her own. Sophia, you keep repeating yourself. So then, what's most important to you? There could be many answers, their research on the emanation, the school's public affairs, or perhaps even just the fate of this small island. But... Another flashback? Yep. No, go away, 37. I know you're right, you're always right, but I don't want to know. I don't want to know my number anymore. The glass bottle shattered the water's surface. The splash rang heavy and bitter. I'm sorry. They both knew the ancient instruction, know thyself. But the most important answer had already been swept away by the waves, lost in the endless depths of the sea.
I think...
Sorry, 37. I don't know that I can answer you right now. It's such a profound question that I don't have an easy answer.
Perhaps...
Suppose I need some time to think about it properly. I need to check our inventory. I hope your research goes well, 37. She spoke the words quickly, feigning calm, but it wasn't so easy to turn and leave. 37 held Sophia's hand firmly. Someone once taught me a problem-solving technique. When you're at a loss, try changing your mood. It's a useful trick, one which I've tested many times. If you don't have anything more important to do now, why not play the game with us? You still haven't participated in Hugh's game yet. It was always so impossible to let go of that hand.
Well...
Alright, but remember, you promised to finish before dinner.
Sure.
Of course. Anyway, 6 is still walking around the island. We'll have time before he reaches 4 digits. Come on, Sophia, let's tackle the next question. It's cute seeing them together. Sophia's words back to herself. She's, yeah? I mean, she needs it, right? Sophia is someone who has given up her self-worth, partially because of depression, right? She lost her dad. But also because she's stood beside a genius her whole life. And so she feels like she's worthless compared to her friend. And I guarantee you 37 would say otherwise, but she's never going to ask that question. Hopefully in the next story chapter that happens, because the alternative is I see bad things in her future.
What's the next question?
The second question is, a furball with a pretty geometry pattern on its head finds 12 grapes and intends to carry them back to a cave 6 meters away. 12 grapes 6 meters away. It can carry up to 6 grapes at a time, but it eats 3 grapes every 3 meters that it advances. How many grapes can it bring back? "37 reads the question, word for word, then turns expectantly to Sophia. 12 grapes carry them to a cave 6 meters away. The critter can carry 6 grapes at a time, and it can move 3 meters at a time with grapes on its body, but will eat 3 grapes. Help the critter select a movement strategy to find the maximum number of grapes that can be carried back." So does this suggest that if it's not carrying grapes, it doesn't have to eat any? Because that's easy. Then it takes 6, it moves, it eats 3, it goes back, picks up the other 6, moves again, eats 3, there's now 6 halfway, pick up those 6, and then go to the cave. You've eaten 3 and you have 3 left.
Sophia!
Now we have to mark it out on the sand with the game. You did promise to come play just now, didn't you?
Well...
Of course, I wasn't just saying it. The corrector reluctantly confirms with 37 again. She will stay and participate.
It's like this.
Then take a look at my notebook and pick whatever shape you like.
Perhaps.
I'll think it over. Do you have any suggestions?
Let
If I were
me
to make a
think.
suggestion, I would say that this rectangle is a good fit.
This is...
Is it because of the meaning of 4, justice and order? It is indeed suitable for a corrector. Thank you, 37. I think this is the one.
The scripture says...
I did remember you did a proof about it. Not that it left much of an impression, but I believe there was such a thing.
And then...
However, in this question, the rectangle represents returning to the pile of grapes.
I understand.
Got it. That said, 210 sometimes drops grapes while walking. Never seen those furballs following him.
A essentially.
The description of the question isn't rigorous enough.
Perhaps.
Maybe it's because he always talks so loudly, so the critters don't dare to come near.
Hey!
Let me see, this time the monad represents moving forward 3 meters, or is it 6 meters?
No, that's not right.
It's carrying as many grapes as possible. Well, it was just a wild guess. Okay, makes sense. Carry as many grapes as possible, and then it's gonna be to drop them, probably.
Your number.
Oh, advancing 3 meters. Okay, makes sense. This time, the line segments represent advancing 3 meters. Got
Maybe.
it. Get rid of the red dot. There's still the step of putting down all the grapes, which belongs to the pentagram. Okay. What? So, pick up grapes, move forward. You drop 3. Go back to the beginning. Pick up grapes. Go forward. I don't think you need to drop them, do you? Would you then pick up advance? Yeah. No need to drop them. 210 Loudmouth confirmed. I mean, the story definitely made him seem that way, right? He's a big flirt. He likes to talk. He likes to be the center of attention. Makes sense that that's the type of person he is. Okay, behind the puzzle. Wait, we're going straight to another puzzle? I was expecting more story. So, did you get the result you wanted, 37? Maybe after a few more questions, I'll discover the common pattern.
I think.
Alright, let's hurry. We still have time for one more question before dinner.
Oh,
Hurry up, oh, you're right, Sophia. She flips through her notebook, seemingly with a new
It's all
idea.
right. They are beautiful.
I'm glad you agree with the suggestion. Let's continue on as written.
No.
No, no, we don't have to verify the same thing over and over. Initially, I just reduced the sequence by 3. And now there are 2 more duplicates here, 3 and 4.
Subtract 1, then subtract 1.
Alright, let's skip some redundant parts. I'm sure we'll clear up the rest soon enough.
Hello there.
Who else wants to join the game? And the eager little boy is the first to step into the field. Is the story the first thing you do in the event? The main story? There is some side content, but yes. The main story is the first thing generally you would do. This doesn't really spoil anything about it, it just tells you a little bit about the characters. But the main story chapter is the main focus of the event. On the event page, there is farming stages to get currency for the shop. Well, it's not really a shop this time, it's like a gacha system. But yeah, the main story is the main thing for you to do, but there is multiple stories. There's also a Charlie story, which that story will be permanent. It'll come back next patch, but it's gonna disappear, I think, like April 1st. And then it'll come back next patch, you can unlock it again. But I mean, it's not very long, it's not hard to get through. And it was a fun story. I liked seeing about Charlie and the Fool and stuff. It was also very fun to voice act last week. But yeah, there's that. There is the main story. There is an extra chapter, which is kind of just a continuation with other characters of what's going on in the main story while everyone's here. And there is something called the Three Doors, which is like a puzzle exploration game that gives you a lot of extra lore about artificial somnambulism. It's also just fun puzzle. It's very Zelda-like puzzles, like sliding on ice and stuff like that. It takes a little bit of thinking. But I had fun doing that. I unfortunately had to do that off stream because when it first came out, it was bugged and you walked at a snail's pace. So for one puzzle, it could take me like 2 hours to do. So I was like watching YouTube videos while slowly doing the puzzles. I wouldn't have wanted to do that on stream. They fixed it though, so you move really fast now. So it's not so bad to do. But yeah, there's a lot of story this patch. This is a really big story patch. And then there's a few challenges here and there, including the most boring challenge ever, which is the challenge thing on Charlie's patch. Literally, just every day, do it on auto with your best team. That is my best suggestion. Don't struggle through it. Don't try to min-max it. It doesn't matter. Just auto through it. It's 7 waves of enemies that progressively get tankier, and it is boring as all hell. There's no bosses, there's no mechanics. It's just tedious. I literally would just put it on auto and then go do something else. And it would take it like maybe 10 minutes, maybe more to do on auto. Maybe I could have done it a little bit faster, but I didn't have to click any buttons, so I don't care. Thank God for the auto feature. But yeah, thankfully it doesn't take very long though. If you do your dailies every day, you can probably get a few runs of it a day. You'll finish it quick enough. But let's see. Been thinking about this while watching everyone play. I want to choose the hexagon because it's perfect and it has the number 6, just like our leader.
Yes, exactly.
But he hardly ever participates in such games. At this point, I prefer your approach. 37 nods in approval of the little boy's active participation. Thank you very much.
What's the next question?
This question is somewhat different from the previous ones. Based on the description, in what position is the hexagon?
For instance...
I'll show you the notebook to each of you, and you just need to say the corresponding order. Huh. Can we deduce where the hexagon is from the left based on how the shapes are arranged? Bless me. So it's literally find the sequence? Let's go left to right.
No.
There are no shapes on my right, but there's a big crowd on the left. No shapes on my right. There's a big crowd on the left, so he is the furthest to the right.
The question is...
My position, oh I see it now. There's more than one shape on my right. So it's not that there's nothing to the left, there's more than one to the right. Which means there's someone other than the monad.
This is...
Among the 2 shapes adjacent to me on both sides, there is no monad. Oh, so you are not... There's 2 shapes on either side of her, but one of them isn't the monad. So she's probably to the left of the line?
It's really good.
I'm neither the furthest left nor the furthest right. Okay, so that's probably the one between the line and the monad. And that means that 37's probably the furthest left?
Let me think.
Now it's my turn. Standing to my left is a line segment. Oh, no. Interesting. So maybe the line is the furthest left then. Okay. So we just have to put them in order. We know this is all the way over here. This one has two shapes near them, but it's not the monad. So probably there. The line segment is adjacent to the left. So the only thing I can think of is this. A. It's in the fourth spot.
Sophia!
Sophia, was the game helpful at all? 37 rushed over as Sophia descended from the playground.
Mm-hmm.
Were the problems fun, inspiring, or perhaps dull? Should the results be logged or just discarded in a corner of the lab?
Actually,
Well, they weren't as dull as I expected. Breaking down the logic was pretty straightforward. For a kid just arriving on the island, it's a decent puzzle.
perhaps.
If I played these as a kid, I might have warmed up to the math more. Perhaps I'd even understood the whole everything is numbers thing a little sooner. But in the here and now, they don't feel very practical, nor enlightening. Oh, I see. It's kind of sad, because it almost sounds like this probably would have been stuff her dad would have showed her if her dad had made it back.
Let me
No
think.
luck, it seems. What could we be missing? With obvious disappointment, 37 flipped through the notebook once more, diving deep into her thoughts again. I wonder if 37 found out that the whole point of these puzzles on the book were to teach Sophia. And so she's trying to teach Sophia in place of Sophia's dad. It was getting dark and the others began leaving the beach. It seemed 37's games didn't yield any results. For her assistant, this seemed like the expected outcome. These games appeared to be more of a basic educational tool than something profound. It's time for dinner. We've run out of time we requested from 6. There's... No, wait! It's not over until I go for dinner. That's my logic. I'm the one that says it's not tomorrow until I go to sleep, even if it's like 5 a.m. and I could see the sunrise. 37 stared at the grid lines on the beach as if she was rooted there. The puzzle represented by these numbers would be on her mind all night, replacing her thoughts on roasted rabbit and honeyed bread. Although it was clear that this number sequence didn't hold any profound meaning at first glance, what if everyone just hadn't looked deep enough?
Perhaps.
I have some free time tomorrow morning. Maybe we can give it another shot then. When Apollo first rides out chasing the dawn, we might discover a fresh perspective. Do you think so? Otherwise, you'd stay here all night. Sophia sighed, once again realizing she was indulging 37. I don't understand, 37. Why are you so convinced there's some hidden significance in the sequence of answers? Huh? Because it's right there. I feel it, if only vaguely. When Hugh jotted down these numbers, they contained a strong emotion. So you're going with your intuition? Intuition. To the mention of that word, the girl's expression dimmed. Back in her childhood before she came to the island, when she was known as an arcanist, she was familiar with this term. Sensing, listening, understanding, beseeching, being fiercely focused, and seizing inspiration, it was all familiar to her. But she couldn't see the flash of genius whenever she pleased, played around with them as if she was catching butterflies. What did having such an ability really mean?
Sophia!
Sophia, come on! If you don't get to the canteen now, only the soup base will be left. 37 had maneuvered nimbly over a line of seagull footprints and waved to beckon Sophia ahead. Hold on, I'm coming. And remember, not every question needs an answer. We have more important things to do now. I love the relationship between these two. Let's drink some water instead of just coffee. Okay. Next day. What was not expressed? Is this gonna get sad? Mornings on the beach were meant for quiet strolls and relaxation. Sophia's plan to arrive early and clear her mind seemed wise, but things rarely went as expected here. 37's probably already there.
Sophia!
Sophia, you're late!
Uh-huh.
I've been here since Apollo rose to meet the dawn. The crowd surrounding 37 seemed even larger than yesterday, as she hopped and waved at Sophia. At the center of the crowd was another familiar figure.
Meaning?
Ah, good. The corrector's here too. What perfect timing.
Attention, please.
Hey everyone, come gather around and take a look. 210 was holding up a magazine. My submission isn't any more childish than this game she's playing. Some chuckled. It was common occurrence for the islanders familiar with their banter. 210 confidently presented the magazine to Sophia and 37. The magazine pages were a mess, amid frivolous news and various announcements. A crumpled mathematical proof huddled in the corner. Fortunately, the author was still identifiable.
This is...
A treatise on the linguistic structure of truth. 210. Is that your name? The towering theorist just spread his hands out in an overproud twist without confirming.
In fact?
Certainly it was no easy feat giving our island's isolation to get this published, but where there's a will, there is a way. Submitting these mathematical essays to outside publications is just the beginning of my many accomplishments to come. I think he's overblowing the difficulty of reaching out. And is this really a mathematical treatise? Seems like a lot of words. Sophia flipped through the magazine quickly. It was nothing more than a common railway journal. 210's essay was listed in the excerpts and anecdotes column. To publish a paper on truth in the magazine like this, The editor's comment is, although the content is obscure, the wording is elegant and worth citing. That's impressive nonetheless. The compliment was genuine, and the already haughty theorist's confidence grew even more. 37, though, crossed her arms in a breathless huff.
No, that's not
I've read
right.
that article. It's pure sophistry. Your premise is flawed and the central thesis overcomplicated. The beauty of mathematical truth lies in its simplicity. These nonsensical embellishments only lead to misinterpretation. Does that not define 210 perfectly, though, 37? It's cumbersome and frivolous. Most importantly, it lacks good process.
I think...
This is all just clever rhetoric, lacking in any substance. Wasted space and meaningless platitudes.
Meaning?
Is that so? More meaningless than all this child's play? Or perhaps this game is simple enough for you? Are these piddling lessons in basic reasoning and arithmetic truth you are looking for?
Have fun, 37.
Well, that makes sense for a child. Carry on with your fun and games, then. The children on the beach had eagerly gathered around 210, forming a lively crowd. At an age when curiosity reigns, they were always interested in this kind of biting debate. The arguments, conflicts, grandeur, and aspirations converged on a single number.
210.
210.
Your number.
Oops. Your numbers clearly contain 2, 3, 5, and 7. You've just lumped them together without using them effectively. Oh, so now you're accusing me of being insincere. That I'm making frivolous gestures only to flaunt my intelligence.
Well, that's outstanding.
How very logical of you. But all this debate allows me to speak the truth that the others are concealing from you. These are games for children, 37.
Meaning?
There are no revelations to be gleaned from your stubbornly pursuing some childish arithmetic.
In fact?
Oh, but we all trust the brilliance of our star of Hermes, and oh so willingly serve as a companion star under your guidance. But surely your brilliant star should consider others' duties and responsibilities, no? Sophia stepped in, breaking the tension at just the right moment.
Actually,
Don't be so serious, 210. We're just passing the time before breakfast with some games, and 37 isn't forcing anyone else to join in. But I agree, perhaps these games are too simple. In your opinion, what changes would it need? Obviously, the questions should be harder, more fitting our caliber, and there should be scores and rankings, and some sort of elimination and revival mechanism. All the participants should be grouped on the beach, competing in groups of 3, and special areas and specific time slots should be scheduled.
no.
What? Absolutely not. That overcomplicates it. 37 forcefully interrupted 210's excited rulemaking.
Object.
This game and its questions were left behind by Hugh for a reason. It's simple because it was designed for children. I don't want to compete with anyone. I just want to understand the hidden meanings within the sequence of answers Hugh left. Of course, if it were more complex, then the participants might enjoy the thrill of its intellectual pursuit.
I think.
But the beauty of the game lies in its simplicity, just like numbers themselves. Stripped of all embellishments, 1 is 1.
The essence won't change.
People, stones, trees, and physical things decay, deteriorate, and change, but 1 remains. This is a simple game, yet it holds the most wonderful wisdom.
You haven't truly understood
There's
it.
no need to make the simple so complicated. All these facades may grab attention, but it strays from the game's true essence.
Meaning?
So you yourself admit it's dull and monotonous. I simply articulated the same meaning with words to make them more convincing, without distorting the truth. Some of his followers in the crowd nodded as they listened. They were captivated by his rebuttal. Such analysis, discussions, and endless numbers was an everyday occurrence in this school of thought. 37's response was to draw several squares on the beach. I learned about this from Sophia. Hopscotch is a popular children's game elsewhere. The rules are simple. 1 hops from one end to the other. It was easy enough to learn, and I've never forgotten it.
Meaning?
So our stars learned hopscotch. I hope you weren't expecting surprise. No, I mean, it's easy to play because of its simplicity. For this reason, it spread from where Sophia was before, and now the children on our island play it too. The group of children who played on the beach yesterday began to laugh. That's right.
That's great.
37's game is fun too. 37 acknowledged her young supporters and carried on. If we complicate the game the game Hugh designed with new rules and competition, won't we lose its true essence? It was a splendid debate, and some followers had already started betting seashells on which side would win. On the island, such debates might continue from early morning until the time of silence. If that were to happen, 37's game would be unable to continue, and more important research would tragically remain on hold. The corrector felt the need to intervene.
I think.
Both sides brought strong points, I believe.
Of course.
You're right. Yes, of course, 37 is right. About what exactly? As you said, it's a children's game. Its essence cannot and will not change. I'm curious, though, about what insights you can glean from such simplicity. Everyone can see the answers at a glance, yet you believe there's some profound meaning in this combination of answers. 210 spread his hands in a mocking gesture and shrugged. It's just time wasted, nothing compared to the pivotal proof uncovered by our great star of Hermes.
Have fun, 37.
Go on, figure out how much of this children's game is worth caring about. I am eager to see the outcome. I'm going to assume it has something to do with Sophia. Oh my god, there are so many more people. What does the doofus have to say?
Of course.
The game participants have to choose a shape. Then I'll take this triangle. Oh, of course he takes the triangle.
Well, that's outstanding.
I was curious why you didn't choose it, as 3 is perfect and harmonious, and really ought to be to your liking.
But you,
But
our
this star really
of
suits
Hermes,
you.
are the
You
gold
finally admit you're
hidden
the
in
star
sand
of Hermes.
on the never.
No. It doesn't make sense.
Is there any connection between these two?
Just fragments.
You always correlate things that are completely different in nature. 37 clearly has more examples for refuting. She takes a deep breath, straightening her back, like a seagull perched on the nearby rocks, seemingly ready to throw out more arguments. Alright, now's not the time for more debate. Corrector timely intervenes to prevent the argumentative atmosphere from deteriorating.
Fine.
Sophia's right. We can't forget what's important. Oh, I remember. A children's game.
Well, that's outstanding.
Let's start then. We'll see who's more correct in due course. Loudly and clearly state the puzzle.
For instance,
A merchant needs to transport a wolf, a sheep, and a cabbage across the river, but can only take one at a time. When he's not around, the wolf will eat the sheep, and the sheep will eat the vegetables. How many trips does he need to make to cross the river? That's interesting. Assuming we only have the two sides, I'm confused off the top of my head, but we'll see.
and then
This
Of
question
course.
is very simple as expected. 210 quickly takes over the conversation.
Well, that's outstanding.
How about I help you assign those steps? I plan to experience the game for myself. You can take a little
Or-
rest. Oh, it seems you don't need the latter. There's no sign of fatigue from 37. She holds her notebook high, trying to get it level with 210's line of
it's like
sight.
this.
I think this is clear enough. Remember, don't miss a single word.
Attention, please.
Oh, wait. Does the boat count as a place you can store them? Because if so, then okay, that makes sense. Wait. Oh no, because if you're on the boat, that should be fine.
Or,
Next is the monad, loading the sheep onto the boat.
in fact,
The line segment put the cabbage on the boat. He quickly and briefly rattles off several corresponding steps.
Sophia.
Now it's the turn of our star of Hermes and the
Like I
corrector.
said,
And me. Please don't forget
that's
me.
true.
The hexagon, good. So you represent unload all
Of
cargo.
course.
Finally, 37, the Star of Hermes, row the boat to the right bank. Sophia, the methodical rectangle, row the boat to the left
Have
bank.
fun, 37.
Please check if I've said anything wrong or missed anything. Sophia takes the notebook from 37, reading it word for word. After careful scrutiny by the corrector, the answer is deemed correct.
Thanks a lot.
No need to delay further. Let's just start sorting. Can only bring them across the river one at a time. So the first step has to be to move the sheep. There's literally no question. You have to bring the sheep across. Probably sheep. And then the cabbage, pick up the sheep again to bring it back, grab the wolf, bring it across, and then go back and bring the sheep. But can you click on them again? I actually didn't try.
Excellent.
I'll bet this whole pile of seashells that 210 will win. I admit 37 is a genius, but she's still a
Like I
child prone to
said.
mistakes. And I'll see your pile and raise you one. I bet 37 will win. She's always been the victor in past debates.
Yay!
Sound of waves nearly drowns out the people's murmurs.
It's really good.
Wish I could be as eloquent as 210, who seems to be able to convince even passing seagulls and trees on the
Please
island.
wait.
I just hope you can be a bit more focused when doing calculations and won't get distracted chatting with your pen. Do I need to
Maybe.
record these rhetorical statements exactly as they are? I think I can condense some of it.
Or like this?
There are so many good words on this page. Can I borrow it to write my diary?
Please wait.
Crowd murmurs softly about what they've seen. Dang it, that means I missed some on the earlier ones. I'll have to check. See if there's anything entertaining. Okay. So, if I'm right, you put the sheep on. I'm assuming we're starting from the left. Yeah, we're on the left. So, row to the right. Unload all cargo. Row to the left. Put the cabbage on the boat. Row to the right. Unload cargo. Put the sheep on the boat. Go back to the left. Unload the sheep. Put the wolf on. Row to the right. Drop it off with the cabbage. Row to the left. Pick up the sheep. Row to the right. And everything's there. Ta-da! Yay for solving the puzzle before I start it, so I just have to write down the steps.
Thanks a lot.
It looks like it will be quicker and more interesting to proceed in groups of 3, as I suggested.
In fact,
What's interesting about without a bit of competition?
this is what people call
Consider what
genius.
I said, 37. Actually, I didn't even think. Wasn't the question how many times to cross it? Was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think.
Object!
Of course I considered it. First, debate never ceases with a temporary pause. It's like a shark lurking underwater, slowly moving. Now it has found a good opportunity, showing its dorsal fin while the corrector gazes at the water. Frickin' 210. Man just never shuts up. Just numbers. No, it can't be just numbers. The sight in front of them seemed much like it always did. The salty breeze and the grains of sand carried by it. two figures strolled hand in hand. No one cared about the children sneaking away from the congregation. They just had to be careful to avoid getting caught. Wow, this place is so beautiful and wide. It's much bigger than my yard back home. Have you ever played hopscotch? Sophia pointed towards several lines drawn in the sand with shells. Together the lines formed clumsy squares. Jump from here to there, but don't step on the lines or squash the shells. I used to play this game before I came to the island. It's different from hide and seek. You can play it alone too. That sounds fun. But I can't understand the meaning of the lines. They don't form a pattern I can recognize. Maybe I need more time to understand their meaning. 37 playfully kicked up some sand, twirling around. Why do we only jump on the squares? Adding a 9-point circle to this game would be nice. 4 inscribed circles, 12 tangential circles. It'll be amazing if you only jumped from the points. She shared her thoughts, trying to convey what she saw in her mind's eye. It's weird that the special effect keeps glitching out and appearing and disappearing. Her tone grew earnest and persistent, trying to illustrate the things she imagined. Yet it was like endlessly picking up shiny pebbles on the beach. Just like today.
Why would you think so?
Newton always tries to make simple things complicated. Hugh just wanted us to finish the game's problems.
The scripture says...
Well, of course, the scripture says one who does not divide the problem into 3 parts cannot achieve true wisdom. But that's no reason to propose 3-player matches. The present scene intertwined seamlessly with past memories, unaffected by time. The girl's rare smile piqued her companion's curiosity, and she came over.
Huh?
Sophia, what's on your mind? What's made you so happy?
I was
thinking, since the emanation, we've hardly ever gathered together like this. 6 became 6. You've taken over your mother's research, and 210 is always so busy with his proofs and fraternizing. Even discussions like the one we just had that happen so rarely. Yet after all this time, you remain so resolute. It's like you never changed. Maybe you haven't noticed, but I have changed. Raising her hand high, 37 gestured from the ground to her head. She's taller now. She's so cute. I've grown taller than before. My hair's longer and harder to manage now. Takes much longer for you to comb it. Not these surface level changes, 37.
Fine.
Oh, then I'm not quite sure what you mean.
Sophia!
Never mind that. I need your help, Sophia. We're down to the last 2 questions. Just a stone's throw from the answer. I was hoping we could finish it together. It seems really obvious, especially after earlier asking Sophia if she was happier, that she's doing this for Sophia, which makes me wonder if she already knows the answer, but she's trying to help Sophia find the answer, because the last time she tried telling Sophia the answer, it got thrown in the ocean. But let's see.
It's like this.
Everything went as I said and didn't take much time.
Perfect number.
Just one more shape to go, so we need one more person willing to play. What are we missing? We have up to 6, I think, so... I guess 7? 37 turns to the crowd, waving her arms in an open invitation. A little girl who had been watching for a long time is nudged forward by her friend.
Or like this?
I can do it. I've wanted to choose for a long time, and this last heptagon, I'd like to pick it. 7 is a unique, respected number. Okay, so it is 7. Believers nod in agreement. This number is quite familiar to them. As a prime number, it is indeed special in some ways, but that's not important now. Well, we'll know the answer soon enough. All 7 participants are ready. 37 tilts her head, unconcerned about discussions around her. She doesn't take back the notebook from Sophia.
Sophia!
We have to complete the game together, so this question is for you, Sophia.
Hmm.
I'm leading everyone for the last question.
Here you go.
Well, I can't think of any problem with that. 210 didn't make any mistakes just now. If he could do it smoothly, of course you can too.
Well,
Okay. I'll try to be careful not to mess up. Also, does anyone else have anything to say?
Sorry.
Still want to raise the bet. You might end up picking shells on the beach for
like I
days.
said.
I'm always confident in my inferences. Besides, what's the big deal with picking shells? As if I'd be swayed by a trivial matter. 2 more shells, no more.
The question is...
The crowd murmurs softly about what they've seen.
It's really good.
Ah, I shouldn't have be distracted just now. I missed a great
Please wait.
opportunity. No matter. Maybe tomorrow and the day after there will still be people playing on the beach. Recorder diligently writes down neat lines of handwriting. His question is, arrange everyone's seats in order. Where will the rectangle sit?
I understand.
The rectangle? That would require confirming my order. Firstly, the rectangle is on the left half of the line, but not the leftmost. It's another one of these. Okay.
Sorry.
According to what the notebook says, I'm not adjacent to the line segment. Okay, the dot is not beside the line. And I'm as far from the monad as the triangle is from the pentagram. Ooh, these are getting interesting. Okay. Okay, Mr. 3.
Of course.
Unfortunately, I'm as far away from the star of Hermes as possible. The pentagram is almost at the farthest distance. Okay. 4 was her. 5 would be... The triangle is not in the seat adjacent to me. So it's a quiet seat. I mean, they basically both said the same thing, that they're far apart. I think this kid was 6.
It's really good.
I'm adjacent to the heptagon. We can play together. And number 7.
That's great.
My seat is right in the middle of the line. Okay. Lots of stuff to look at. But we know heptagon's in the middle, so that's a good place to start.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. I knew you'd do great. Only the final sorting remains. Don't worry, it's pretty easy
It's
too.
all right.
Glad I could help. The corrector hands the notebook back to 37, observing the squares in
I
the sand.
think...
Maybe it's like this. Let me try. Okay, so the easy one is this one being in the middle. We know this guy's on either side of her. Pentagram tries to be as far away from me as possible. So these two are probably the ends. Is in the left half, but not the leftmost. The triangle to pentagram equals my distance to the monad. The triangle to the pentagram... Oh, they can't be max distance. So maybe if we do this and this, that would mean that she's the furthest that way. Equals my distance to the modad. So that would work with that. Rectangle is on the left side. And then this one's sitting back next to it. Hey! There we go. I didn't look at the number order, though. Dang it! I didn't notice the number order. Let me look at my stream preview so I can peek at it again. One, three, 4, 7, 6, 2, 5. Although it was specifically the position of the square we were looking for, so 3 is the answer. Closing her notebook, 37 felt every detail course through her body. The result was clear from the beginning. Everyone could see the number laid bare on the paper.
Uh-huh.
633434533. Composite number divisible by 41. Its largest prime factor was 1544741013. Can't read numbers apparently. If you saw it as a sequence, it was a simple combination of 3, 4, 5, and 6. 3 6 times, 4 appeared twice, while 5 and 6 appeared once each. Whether you look at it as a number or a sequence, it still feels like something is missing. Hugh's annotated shapes must hold the key.
Let me
Just
think.
haven't figured out what those little points mean yet. 37 pointed to an ink blotch on the notebook directly under the hexagon.
Or,
Just an accidental smear.
It's like this.
But look, there's the same mark below this question later on too.
in fact,
Sometimes, for convenience, they put a dot over repeating decimals in infinite series. That dot's above, but this one's below. Perhaps Sophia's father thought 6 had its limitations.
No, that's not right.
That makes no sense, it can't be. Was it for the 6 and 9? I wonder if some of those 6s are supposed to be 9s? Or actually, there was only one 6, wasn't there? Having a sense of humor every now and then wouldn't hurt. He shrugged, pretending indifference to 37's rebuttal. I admit I overcomplicated Hugh's marks at first. There are so many possible attributes that they easily steered my thinking in the wrong direction. Remember what you said to me earlier. Don't complicate simple things. Maybe there's no deep meaning in these symbols. Maybe you've just made it complex.
No.
No, absolutely not.
makes
Hugh didn't
sense.
leave these marks at random. Look, only the questions whose answer is the number 3 have this kind of pattern. It's a small puzzle related to the number of triangles.
I think...
My father did love geometric shapes. I think 37 might be onto something. Feeling supported, 37 confidently continued.
I think...
I thought that if I experienced the game firsthand, I'd understand the meaning behind these marks and sequences. but I still don't get it.
That
There's
makes
something
sense.
missing here, and it's because I don't understand you well enough. If it were Sophia...
Oh.
Oh, so the conclusion is there's no secret to this game after all. In that case, it looks like I've won.
210.
Don't be so hasty, 210.
The scripture says...
The scriptures say the learned remain silent. They listen attentively and take others' words seriously. So perhaps you will show yourself to be a proper learned scholar and let me finish without interruption. Teachings also exhort us to listen to the sound of the wind.
Meaning?
They demand that we earnestly listen to everything to expand our thinking. Be considered that I too am part of everything. Think about your argument. Simple games can hold the most beautiful wisdom.
In fact?
Yet now you realize that this wisdom eludes you because you don't understand you well enough. Can't you see, 37? I don't even need to knock your castle down. It's already a puddle of quicksand. 210 sarcastically shook his head, implying that the conclusion was self-evident. Unyielding, 37 crossed her arms.
You haven't truly understood
More
it.
meaningless rhetoric. Calm down and let me explain. The beauty of wisdom should apply to everyone, yet you want to uncover truths through personal relationships.
Or?
Maybe this sequence indeed holds meaning, but perhaps it is just a personal note Hugh gave to his daughter. After all, it's not a collection of axioms, it's a personal notebook. These numbers might only hold meaning for Hugh and Sophia, but what use do you have for them? Scripture also says, do not easily extend your right hand to others. In other words, one should attend their own affairs. Yet the Star of Hermes eagerly takes away others' proofs and treats them as her playthings.
Meaning?
Aren't the materials left by your mother enough to pass your time? 210's mockery was evident in his words. I know that's one thing she does that annoys everyone, is that she tries to find proof for people's numbers. But his opponent remained steadfast. No, the teachings mean that we shouldn't easily impart wisdom and knowledge to those who don't appreciate it. You've twisted its meanings. Once you enter the temple, you cannot turn back. The pursuit of truth and sufficient knowledge is worse than total ignorance. Since I've begun exploring this, how can I stop halfway?
Essentially...
And the meaning of numbers isn't determined by anyone. They exist, unrelated to time, space, and who we are. They're not someone's property.
Right?
If none of us know the sequence, how can we assert its nature? The conversation veered again towards an endless back and forth. Oh no. The corrector felt torn, caught between the two. Mediating disputes was her strength, but this seemed, despite their emotions, to be a well-reasoned debate. Maybe she should leave them to exhaust the truth. It aligned more with their scholarly approach. As she pondered this, 37 suddenly turned to her. In that case, let Sophia be the judge. Uncover the secrets in the notebook and see who's right. I agree. Let the corrector determine the truth. Oh, so this is how it's going to be. She sighed, regretting her momentary hesitation. It would be too difficult to refuse the expectant gazes of her friends.
Well...
Fine, I'll make the judgment. First, let me go over the game properly. Sand and gold. This might be the last minigame then, and this one ends up just being story. Guess we'll see. This island holds so many quirks, and 37 possesses the greatest of them all. Hey! I chose my art well! This is the art I used for the thumbnail. She was born with her own set of numbers, always clear about where she's headed. When she speaks of those never-ending numbers on the beach, those beautiful proofs, it feels like coming face to face with eternity. At the same time, I deeply understand my own simplicity and ordinariness.
There's nothing wrong with letting the stars shine where they should. And those who look up will continue to look up.
They voiced that one. I think she said the same thing in the story, though, which is probably why. So her opinion is that, oh, 37's a genius, so I'll let her shine, I'll let her be a genius. And I'm ordinary, so I'm just going to sit here and look up. I'm going to watch her be amazing. I'm not going to try to climb. I'm not going to get there. I'm ordinary. Tidying the lab, managing her hair, listing supplies, receiving guests. There's no need for these little things to occupy 37's attention. Her time should be spent on more significant research. But beyond all that, 37 is like a bright star, newly born. She disregards conventions and is curious about many new things, has a playful, carefree spirit. Just like any other childhood friend. 37 has her own pursuits. And I have a task to complete. Verify the answers 37 gives. She touched her father's notebook, closing her eyes. She remembered many vivid fragments. Sifting sand on the beach, the sting of her fingers as she polished his lenses. The fragrance of cinnamon and chickpeas lingering in the air. A ship cleaves through the water's surface, approaching the shore before disintegrating amid fading cheers. Then everything moved forward, beyond the surging waves, back to humble streets. Memories from beyond the island that belonged exclusively to Sophia, reaching back to her blurry childhood impressions. She was different from that lone star, suspended in the sky. She was born to the tangible and belonged to this dim world of phenomena. She rummaged through her jar of memories in search of some trinket worthy of trading for a coin. Indeed, she was a diligent, serious girl. And so, after examining every small stone in the jar, she finally found a satiating answer. I understand now. 633434533. This isn't just a string of numbers, a sequence, a proverb, or some new truth we've yet to comprehend.
This is...
It's a musical score. A musical score? What's that? The word wasn't within 37's scope of thought. She widened her eyes in surprise, showing her curiosity plainly.
Actually...
People often use this method to notate melodies. This musical score is the beginning of a song. It's quite a popular tune in my hometown, one which my father loved to hum. He must have poured his heart into these questions. I really hope they actually recorded her humming this song. Also, I swear to God, if that's the song that's been playing in the background this whole time, that's actually hilarious. Listen to Sophia sing that familiar song. She better. Sea breeze whips over past the rocks in geometric shapes, scattering a handful of fine sand. The grains gather into tiny mounds at the edge of her shoes. After helping 37 with the validation, the crowd dispersed into groups to go about their own business. Only a few figures remain on the beach.
Is everything, all of it, just about
I think I still remember how this song goes.
Will it explain everything?
Oh. My man started over. Day 2. He's doing his walk again. Oh, singing.
Hey!
Few curious, friendly onlookers. Few are going to finish their business at hand.
No.
Yay!
Someone here is going to spend a week collecting shells and will swear off betting. Arrange the scattered notes to play the phrase 633434533. Oh, are the dots a staccato maybe then? If that's, maybe that's why there was the dots. Unless it was just to say that it's, oh, it's a lower octave. I'm stupid. That's what it is. Wait, fourth. I hope we get to hear the whole song. I want to hear the whole song. Yes. That's the candy hidden in the jar among the stones. The calls of the seagulls, the sound of the waves crashing up and down, and the sound of my own breathing become calm and distant. Except for that song. Perhaps it's... Cutscene? Aww. If they went wild and did a cutscene for that, I would have been so happy. If she could just recall the initial notes, the subsequent phrases would naturally follow. At first stumbling and hoarse, soon the song became fluent, resonating across the quiet beach.
Oh!
I knew numbers could be music, but why didn't I think of it earlier? I was so close. A musical score, but I've never heard of this notation method. I mean, it would make sense that they'd include it. "37 didn't stay low for long. She quickly perked up, genuinely praising her companion's revelation.
Brilliant!
It's a lovely song, and you sing it well, Sophia.
Well, that's outstanding.
Suppose everyone got what they wanted. You've solved the puzzle. Sophia uncovered the song her father left behind. And I won.
Object!
Why, my initial theory was correct. The string of numbers did have deeper meaning after all.
In fact,
But you glossed over the musical score. As I foresaw, this had nothing to do with you from the start. It's just a distant hometown ballad that a father left for his daughter. No profound meaning, no wonderful wisdom, no transcendent truth. That depends on the person. Maybe it has no meaning for you. But you just had to whimsically stir things up again to satisfy your curiosity. Everything tilts around you, regardless of whether it gets disturbed, shattered, or it's sometimes accomplished.
this is what people call
That's the genius the people talk about.
But you,
But don't
our
worry,
star
my
of
words are
Hermes,
just as
are the gold
consequential
hidden in the sand
grains
on
of
the
sand
never-ending
compared to
beach.
you, the star of Hermes. golden treasures are buried in this endless beach, aren't they? Everyone's willing to play along, after all. Flocking to a genius is much more interesting than following an ordinary person. But I played the game and verified it, and I told Sophia that there must be a secret in the notebook. This was a rare moment. 37 was at a loss for words. Bewildered, she looked at Sophia with a furrowed brow, hoping to hear a judgment strong enough to defeat 210. I agree. 210 is won. Oh, all right. Her shoulders slumped as all the inspiration that had driven her thus far vanished in a breath. This time 37 didn't perk up again. Instead, she hung her head and kicked some sand before burying her head in her robe like a seabird.
Actually,
It's true, this notebook doesn't contain the wondrous wisdom of scriptures. The string of numbers could only be solved by me because others didn't know Hugh. 210 was the first to predict this result, that's undeniable.
I think...
But I still believe 37 achieved her goal, too. Not sure why. Oh no, it definitely sounds like it. He's the kind of person that he wants to stand out, but he doesn't. So he adds fancy words and talks, and he learns how to win arguments because it makes him stand out. But when it comes down to it, he never says that, oh, I could solve something that you couldn't. He's always, oh, any of us could solve that, right? He's just one of the crowd. But he wants to be more. Especially the fact that he keeps bringing up the whole Star of Hermes thing. He seems incredibly jealous of her. Sophia's words spared 37 from sinking deeper into the shallow holes she'd already made in the sand with her feet. She froze, waiting to hear what Sophia was going to say next.
Actually...
No matter what you think, it was 37 who first uncovered these numbers, bringing this melody back to me. If it wasn't for her determination, I wouldn't have had the chance to hear this song again. I still remember what 37 told me, about the proof of the existence of infinite prime numbers. Sophia smiled at her, as 37 nodded both enthusiastically and confused. My father, Hugh, was a corrector like me. He was the previous person responsible for handling matters off the island. But over time, his name faded into obscurity, leaving behind only a sharp-edged cube, a dusty notebook, and a pair of broken glasses. Like the formula of 37 once etched into the beach, his memory has long been washed away by the waves. Although Hugh's spirit has returned to its source, we can still hear the melody he left behind. Perhaps the one who first sang this song has been swept away by time, faded into nothingness. But his notes still echo into eternity, just as we recall the proof Euclid penned over 2,000 years ago. Like 37 said, the power of proof lies in its simplicity and universality. This tune holds a certain universality, too.
Actually...
Yes, it's not a mathematical theory in the truest sense, and it doesn't speak to the essence. It's only a gleaming shard left by Hugh, like grains of sand reflecting faint light on the shore. Yet this universality allows it to persist through time, crossing vast spaces and arriving at this moment and place. Let's take a moment to listen to this song. Just simply listen. The disputes and differences dissolved in the soft breath of the breeze. The beach returned to silence, and only the melody lingered. I'm glad they got her to sing it. It's definitely the melody that's playing in the background every now and then. The theme of this, which, what's it called again? I remember seeing it. I remember seeing it get recommended to me over and over. Oh my gosh, of course, I look up frickin'... I search up reverse, and I find guides of, oh, saving guide, and they're showing characters that are, like, just coming out in China. Please don't save for characters that are half a year away. Enjoy the game. Is it the no, it's probably Numbers. It's probably the song Numbers. I'd have to look through all the songs they've revealed for this one, but I would assume it's the song called Numbers. Which, you know, makes sense. But Endless Shoreline. The end. Let's see. I'm kind of sad, though, that seeing this, and just how much this meant to Sophia and it helped her remember her dad, that Sophia still seemed to hold a grudge about 37 not understanding how she feels in the story. Because this almost sounds like Sophia kind of reconciling with 37 and understanding, but maybe not. I used to think other people's opinions didn't matter to 37. Even in the most heated arguments, she never paid them much attention. With ordinary eyes, it's difficult to perceive changes in the vastness beyond us. But now I understand how to notice them. The faint scrape of fingers brushing over geometry, the different grains of sand I scoop up when I bend over. The changes are slow and gradual, but they're there. Apollo's star had risen high, and the star of Hermes' game had ended. It was time to head back to that room filled with scattered papers. 37, what's on your mind? 37's steps were unusually slow. She wondered if the verdict had hit her harder than she predicted. The ever-scrupulous corrector began to regret her decision. Perhaps it would have been better for 6 to maintain the balance. Sophia? 37 started somberly, her words flatter than usual. I hope I didn't waste your time. Do you think it was all just a pointless game? Again, as far as I can tell, she was doing this for Sophia. The doubt spilled out of her, eagerly awaiting an answer. Of course not. That song means a lot to me. It's a precious memory. Are you upset, 37? You didn't seem so down when we listened to the song earlier. Well, that's because it had such a lovely cadence, and you sang it so well. Her praise came sincerely and quickly, no doubt about it. But what surprised me was when you mentioned that proof about infinite primes. I remember it, but I have no idea when I told you about it. Of course I remember. 37 was a beautiful proof. I'll always remember it. But that didn't comfort her much. Distractedly, 37 grabbed at her hair. So have I messed up your memories of Hugh? Barging in, disrupting your memories, and leaving a mess behind. Sophia widened her eyes slightly. She didn't realize how much 37 cared. 37, are you still bothered by what 210 said? She averted her eyes. That was rare. Sophia, what's so funny? Sorry, I just never thought I'd see you care about something he said. You're right, you really have changed a lot after all.
Sure.
Of course, didn't I tell you that? It's not just my height. I even changed where I sit at the table. As the distance between me and the table changes, so does the best angle for catching the sun. I'm not talking about height or seats. Sophia shook her head with a soft smile. It was a gentle, rare, loving gesture. 37, do you know why I've never forgotten that proof about infinite primes?
Actually,
Because it made me ponder such distant things for the first time. Before, I didn't care about what eternity meant. It felt like nothing, some faraway notion.
I think...
Now I stand here, fully aware that the island under our feet will one day disappear, washed away like sand by the tide. But I also believe some things will endure, like grains of gold buried in the silt. The island was vast enough to house an entire school of thought. Yet it was also so small, a speck in the waves. And we, living amidst it, could only remember fleeting moments.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because the world we see is transient. 37 nodded seriously. This topic was more familiar to her than discussing dinner plans. You shared it with me because of the eternity and beauty that the infinite holds, and its universally true nature. From then on, I've seen the gold in the sands. And in turn, I shared Hugh's song with you. If it brought you joy, that means it has meaning for you, too.
Perhaps.
Maybe it's not the transcendent descent you are seeking, but those who hear the song will feel it, remember it, and maybe even hum it one day. That is universal beauty, too.
Oh!
So that's it. I get it now. The confusion vanished from 37's face, and she returned all at once to her usual cheerful self.
Mm-hmm.
This song isn't just for Hughes and Sophia anymore because you shared it with us, right? So it's universal and belongs to everyone who hears it, just like the proof I shared with you.
Huh?
Why are you laughing again, Sophia?
Never mind.
Oh, it's nothing. I'm just thinking about how you're always turning everything into a proof to understand it. When it's as simple as enjoying music with friends. I suppose I still can't quite grasp this kind of simplicity. 37 thought hard about this, puzzling over it like a new problem. But thankfully she soon had a new idea as always. Sharing is really a solid argument. I bet 210 would struggle to argue against it.
Mm-hmm.
I knew my viewpoint was right. I'm going to tell him right away. 37 hurried off and caught up with 210, who was leafing through another magazine.
Meaning?
What now? Sophia's declared I won, and nothing can change that.
Object!
You were just a spectator making random guesses while I uncovered a valuable song. Believe what you want. I've said enough today. I'd like a bit of peace and quiet now. He deliberately slowed down, trailing behind Sophia and 37. 37 took it as 210 conceding, and her steps became light as air. Well, except for some trivial details, everything went smoothly today.
Perfect number.
It's the number 9. The trinity of peace, friendship, and harmony. Absolutely perfect.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's right. 37 turned to Sophia with a sudden recollection. A joyful smile spread across her face.
Sophia!
Come on, Sophia. Give me your hand.
Here you go.
This is for you. The feathers, shells, and pebbles formed a lovely decorative chain. There was a lone pebble next to it. Is this for me?
Sure.
Of course! And this one I found on the beach just now. The pattern forms a fantastic number. You can add it to the chain. Or, you know, give it a toss into the waves.
Thank you.
Thanks, 37.
That's great.
Came to the beach this morning to give it to you, but I found myself sidetracked and completely forgot.
It's all right.
It's alright,
help you?
37. I really appreciate your gift.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Shall we hang out tomorrow, Sophia? I'll catch up with my research in no time. Oh, the day after tomorrow could work too. We could make this a regular island activity. Now was the time, relaxed and pleasant enough for her to ask what she had left unsaid.
Is everything, all of it, just about this number?
37. Do
explain
all these
everything?
numbers have this infinite meaning to you?
Sure.
Of course. 37 answered without missing a beat. So 37 is just one number in the infinite progression. If it's not, what else could it be? 210, 37, 6. Even if we're gone, these numbers won't
For
disappear.
instance,
Just like you don't need 3 seagulls, 3 stones, or 3 people to prove the number 3 exists. Numbers exist outside of all that.
Thank you.
Thanks, 37. Think I understand your answer. Got some other things to take care of. Let's hang out later if there's time. Deal. Wait, I see 6 coming back. 37 waved at the dot on the horizon as a seagull swooped above them. She sprang up and greeting the leader. Good morning, 6. 210 and I had a disagreement over something, but the sequence, it connected to a song.
Afraid I don't know much about songs.
But it's only logical, isn't it? Is there any doctrine from our past that fits this situation? Thinking things through can help purify one's intellect.
Need.
Perhaps a period of quiet contemplation would be helpful.
fine.
That doesn't suit me well, I'm afraid. Alright, I'll come up with more convincing new arguments on my own. It was clear that 37 wasn't satisfied with 6's suggestion. The debate would keep going in the coming days. Aww. Watch your step or you'll trip. I love the just obviously childish glee on her face. I would assume that she's roughly the same age as Sophia, but she looks like half the age just because of her personality and how she carries herself.
It's like this.
Don't worry, as long as I stick to the right order of steps, I won't fall. Don't forget, we've got to hurry or we'll miss mealtime. That seagull looks as starved as her. Aww. We could calculate the seagull's speed by counting steps. God damn it. She went from childlike glee to immediately, thinking numbers. I love the, disdain on his face. It's like, really? Where did we stop counting? Can spend all day counting seagulls on the beach tomorrow.
Well, that's outstanding.
That could be the topic for my next essay. Planning to cover up a weak argument with a bunch of superfluous dribble again? Alright, you two. Let's pick up at the pace. There are other ways to figure out its speed.
284 steps.
I see he's been counting.
Thank you.
Thanks, 6. And the time it took us to get here is... God, I love this character so much. I will say, as much as I'm sad I didn't get Shimane, Shimane is one of those characters, I love him as a character and I loved his story, but I don't really associate with him. I really loved Jessica and I'm glad I got her. I really love 37, I'm glad that I got her. But that was great. Also, I'm glad I didn't count earlier, because there's clearly only 6 things here. I love that, though. Just, it's something I try to do. Try to not overthink things and just enjoy something like a child would. It's hard to do sometimes, right? Especially when you have limited time, whatever else, but... It's honestly a lesson to be learned, right? Just focus on something, enjoy it, you'll find meaning in something. And that meaning might lead you somewhere. From early on, it definitely seems like she was doing that purposely to help Sophia, and she succeeded. Contemplating whether to pull for 6 or save. Let me look at 6's kit again, because it's been a while since I looked at it. I'm not entirely sure what to do about that either. I really like the design of the Beast character that's coming up, and I also could probably use another beast character, because right now the only thing I have is, God damn it, Melania. And I think the next one is going to be physical, but they're also going to be a burn character, which means they're going to need unique supports, so that might be a little rough. Oh, right, he was the one that has, like, a set of debuffs, a set of buffs, and then his ult is just a giant nuke. It's hard to say, because he's probably going to be a very universal support if you don't have someone better to fit the fight. I don't know. I'll have to wait and think about it too, but maybe I'll do a few pulls on his banner, and if I get him, I get him. If I don't, I just save. We'll see. But we've got a few weeks to worry about that. Yeah. He seems really good, and I remember way back, months ago, I believe this patch came out around the time launch happened for Global, and I remember people freaking out about, oh, this guy is power creep, he's gonna break the game. And I've heard people say that about every character that's come out since, and I don't think they're that broken, so I think people are just crazy. But yeah, he does genuinely seem really good. But I don't know. I already have really good teams, so I'm split on if he's that valuable to go for. But, well, claim that 2 whole levels. Oh yeah, he definitely seems flexible just because he's Spirit, right? So he can go in any team, he can buff anyone, he can debuff anyone. I think the main reason why I don't think he'd be that good for me is literally, if I need debuffs, I have multiple debuffers, right? I have Baby Blue, I have Beaker and Bloom. I have so many characters that I could use for debuffs. And then I have Anon Lee. Everyone has Sonetto, but like I have Anon Lee, which is basically 6-star Sonetto. I have buffers and debuffers. It's very rare that a fight needs both buffing and debuffing. That also takes a lot of actions. So I don't know if I really need them, because I have the flexibility just in variety. I've been way too lucky with this game. I apologize if it upsets people that I have so many 6 stars. I have lost a lot of 50-50s, but while losing those 50-50s, I've gotten them at relatively low pity. Poor Knight. I think Knight is such a cool character, but I have no reason to build him. But yeah. I don't know. It's something to think about, though. I'm excited to see more stuff. The next patch, I know we're getting... I think it's like Australian characters. I'm curious what the story is going to be. I'm assuming it's going to be an event story and not a main story. But I could... who knows? Could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure we're getting like a small girl with boxing gloves that stacks burns and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, I think more than anything, there's gonna be the one 6-star burn DPS, Spathadia, it's the small girl. And then I think there's gonna be a 5-star on her banner that helps support her. What's this person's name? Let's see if I can find them. Is it this one? Desert Flannel? Are you the one that does burns?
5, 7, 11,
No, you don't look like you do burns.
17,
You just look like a support.
19, 23, 29.
Though, I mean, it does
31,
look like
37.
Spathadia is going to be able to inflict enough burns herself. Her whole thing is she buffs herself up and then just inflicts tons of burns all at once. It looks like it's basically going to be like similar to poison, but they burn down. So you can put dozens of stacks of burn on an enemy, but every turn it halves, I think. We'll see how it balances. But I don't know. I also just like the look of the character, but I'll have to see the story to see if I actually like the character as a person, because that usually is the big thing that helps define who I want to pull on. If I like the character, I'm probably going to pull on them. But thankfully, every character I have played so far in this game has been fun. They all have interesting gimmicks and whatnot, so I'm enjoying it. I'm very glad I found a team that works with New Babel, because New Babel I pulled, and it's like, I like the idea of a counter DPS.
No matter business or bonding.
Though I
we're
feel like
always welcome.
she's less of a DPS and more of just a shielder that triggers 37. Right now I have her
business
set to
or
use
bonding.
37's cone and
We're
37
always
using a
welcome.
different one. I might trade
Of course you
them.
are.
Or see if I can find
This
another
is the
tankier
origin.
one for New Babel. Because it's very clear that 37 does more damage than New Babel. But we'll see. But yeah, I enjoyed that. How long until we get more story? I'm gonna assume 9 days, because that's when that ends. When does it say? Yeah, 9 days. Okay. Well, technically 10 days. But yeah, so that'll put it, what, sometime late next week? Probably next Thursday? I'm excited to see what happens, because I'm assuming if we have a whole other page, it's not just Six's story, right? We have to have something other than Six's story. So maybe another side story. I know we're supposed to get another one of these things. It's gonna be, what's his name? Oliver Fogg, was it? Yeah, Oliver Fogg story. It's gonna be about the London smog issues, probably. Due to the crit-based follow-ups. Lilia's definitely gonna be the one that she works the best with early on. But she works with any follow-ups, right? And I'm noticing there's a few more. She doesn't work so well with Calibana. But, like, I'm hoping they keep adding more follow-up characters just to make her relevant, but also flexible. Because I don't mind mixing the teams a bit. But yeah, I'm sure if you have Lilia, and honestly, I want to get Lilia. I haven't yet, but I'm probably gonna buy this. Even if I don't have Lilia right now, whenever I get Lilia, I want to use that skin. It's such a good skin. Just looks so good. And I mean, she's a standard character, so eventually we'll probably get it. But yeah, we'll see. But I'm excited for more of this story. I can't wait for us to get more story, like more main story. I'm worried. Does anyone know if the Chinese server's gotten any more main story yet? Because that's one hell of a cliffhanger they left us at. But I am loving everything in this game so far. I've said it to people before. In my opinion, Reverse is the best gacha game out there right now. Just in terms of gameplay being good, story being good, it's incredibly fair gacha. Just, it has everything. Do I think it's absolutely the best story out there? No. Do I think it's the best gameplay out there? No. But this is the first gacha game that I've played that I have almost no complaints. Like, this game is just good in every facet. And I'm just so happy to play it. Chapter 6 is in 1.7. Oh boy, so we got a few patches to wait. Oh well, I can be patient. I'm curious to see where it goes. But yeah, I do think I'm probably going to end it there. Dinner should be ready soon. And, I don't know, it always feels weird on YouTube to stream random gameplay. I might make specific streams for that, but I like getting specific content done in it. Hopefully I can get Twitch fixed soon, but I don't know. I did get an update to my art software. I was using Clip Studio version 1 for the longest time, because I didn't really feel the need to get the version 2 features. But version 3 came out a little less than a week ago, and they're offering a 60% off, which means it would cost me just as much to buy 3 as it would to upgrade to version 2. So I'm just gonna buy 3 today. It's probably what I'm gonna do after stream. And a lot of the new features look really helpful. So I might do an art stream later this week. We'll see. I'll have to look through the game, see what all's coming, what I want to stream. But I might do an art stream this week where I'm literally just going to do art. I'm just going to draw art for a few hours, hang out, talk, and have fun. Yeah. Like, YouTube has its advantages for streaming, of things staying there. It's easier for people to find it. People are more likely to go and look for a stream VOD to search through it, or at least more likely to find it, maybe not look for it. It honestly shocks me how many people watch my Twitch VODs. I looked at the statistics, and it's a crazy amount of people actually go back and watch the VODs, and I do appreciate it. But yeah, I definitely miss using Twitch. It's just Twitch's account system is so borked, and I can't log in on my streaming software and stuff to stream right now because of issues with Authy. So I'll figure it out. But yeah, expect an art stream probably sometime this week. It's been a little bit. And I don't know what else is I think next week is Star Rail. There might be an event this week in Honkai Impact because the story finished last week. So usually a week after the story finishes, they release another piece of story content. So I might be doing an event in Honkai Impact. We'll see about other things. I know Genshin has an update and there's an event going on. Maybe I could do the Genshin event. I don't know how story focused it is. I did pull the new character. It was an accident. I was pulling for a 4-star. Don't pull for 4 stars. But I was trying to get a Goro constellation because he turns into a healer at C4, and I got the 5-star. So now I got a builder. She seems fun at least, so I'm not too upset, but yeah. But yeah, we'll see. I also wouldn't mind streaming more Relink, but it would just be random gameplay again. I've been playing a lot of the Lucilius raid. It is insanely fun. If you play Relink and you haven't tried the new fight yet, look forward to it. It is insanely fun. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. At the latest, Wednesday's probably going to be another stream. That'll probably be the art stream, unless I find something else. Why would you pull for a 4-star when you're not going for the 5-star? Because basically the thing was, if I got the 4-star, the 5-star is more worth building, because they work together. So I'm not too upset about pulling the character, because I was considering trying to pull for the character if I got the 4-star. It was one of those things where it's like, there's nothing I want in Genshin for the next while. I already have 2 of the best fire DPS in the game, so I don't need Arlecchino. Arlecchino's cool, but I don't need her. So I decided, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna do some pulls and see what happens. Genshin is one of those games where once you're a veteran of the game, like, everything's a joke. So getting characters is just for variety at this point. I don't need any of the new characters. So, eh. But, oh well. Happy accident. Again, it was at like 15 pity. Like, I got the new character really early, so I can't really complain. But, oh well. But yeah, we'll see. Who knows, if I've gotten the character built by then, maybe I'll I'll use that character while doing event stuff in Genshin if I decide to do that on stream later the week. Yeah, I got her really early. Like, it was I was not expecting it. One of my friends was making fun of me. It's like, oh, you shouldn't pull for 4 stars. You know what's going to happen. I only had 20 pulls. I did 20 pulls, and I got her on the second one. On the second 10 pull. But, it happens. But, yeah. Thank you guys for watching again. I will most likely be streaming art on Wednesday. And just, I don't even know what I'm going to be drawing yet. But, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. I mean, I'd argue that's technically good. I didn't lose the 50-50, but yeah, as usual before I go though, in the description below the stream is my Twitter, my Discord, and all the channels that I use. You can check those if you want to see more content, if you want to see announcements of when I'm going to go. I've been scheduling my streams at least the night before, generally, on my Discord server, so if you wanted to know what was coming, then you could join that and see there. I also stream a lot in the Discord voice channel and hang out with people. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out. Love you guys. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.